I guess I didn't want to share them with God. Even if you know intellectually that God is there, sometimes it feels like it doesn't matter because there's no one there to help you. And I think Stephen Ministry is a way to actually see help right in front of you. And so receiving care from her began the process of me being able to receive care from God. So to have that one person who had signed on to listen and not to judge me, it felt safer than burdening friends who could run, it might be too much, or family members who might feel guilty that it was their fault. So my Stephen minister, she's just such a sweet lady. She's so sweet, and she's extremely caring, and everything seems to sort of get calm when she speaks, because I think there's a lot of love in her voice, in our interactions. There's a lot of love there. When I felt like maybe God couldn't do something in my situation, she reminded me that he could. And when I felt unlovable and that maybe God was powerful enough, but I was too weak, she kept believing. So at least one of us had faith, even though a lot of times it wasn't me. There was always faith for my situation present there. Stephen Ministry to me means not having to be alone. I don't think I really knew how to trust people before Stephen Ministry, so that was an opportunity to learn that. I know what I was like before, and I know what I'm like after, and I know there was Stephen Ministry in between, and so I know that made a difference. It made a huge difference.
Right here in my backpack is the final answer to portable smoothies, and here it is. This is the Patriot.
Got to deal with the commercialism. It's been almost exactly 10 years since my wife hurt herself on the job the first time, which led to a whole bunch of things. Kay's situation has gone from oops to uh-oh to oh my God to holy. And it's still there. I mean, she still can't walk from the original surgery. She's wheelchair bound, doesn't get out very much, is on dialysis now because her kidneys failed. And I've been the guy who's been there all that time. And I was just putting so much pressure on myself. And so finally one of the guys, a good buddy, called me at home and he said, "We are going to get you a Stephen minister." He knew all that story and he said, "We're going to get you a Stephen minister." And I said, "Well, it's time. It's time." My Stephen minister is just a little bit older than I. And sometimes when we're together, I have to say, even to him, we're just like two old farts sitting around drinking coffee on a Wednesday morning. It's just so easy to be with him. He's just so tuned in to what I'm doing that he knows the right questions. He never suggests anything. He's not there to tell me what to do. He's there to get me to talk to myself until I discover what is necessary. And I can tell him anything. He listens to anything. He listens to the good stuff, he listens to the bad stuff. He's also very happy about the successes that I've had along the way. I can't wait to tell him about some things. So it's been a lot of pressure. But my Stephen minister has just walked me through it, talked me through it, questioned me through it, and I'm surviving very nicely. I'm grateful to Trinity for caring enough, the people there were caring enough to literally put a Stephen minister in my back pocket, because I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for that. So I give thanks every day. In fact, my connection with the church now is I don't go to worship to take, I go to give. I have gotten so much from the church, so much through my Stephen minister, that I go to give it all back, or give us back as much of it as I possibly can every Sunday morning. This relationship with the Stephen minister is about you and God and getting you through the next period. I'm very proud to say I have a Stephen minister. If you're under anything like the pressure that I was under then, wouldn't you like to be where I am now? You can get there if you take on a Stephen minister. But you can't have the one that I have.
We have some more videos like that we'll be showing in our booth at our exhibitor booth. So now that you've heard a little bit about the why and how, as you watch the video, you're probably wondering how it works. And so it's a very well laid out system. The program is about 40 years old and is currently in 13,000 congregations and growing across the United States and around the world, mostly in the United States. And it was started by a psychologist, a Christian psychologist. So it has a Christian basis and also a basis in actual real psychology, not pop psychology. And the first step would be to enroll your congregation into the Stephen series. And this is a one-time enrollment process that occurs, and then you're a lifetime member of the Stephen Ministry as a partner. Secondly, then pastors, church staff, and lay leaders would then attend Stephen Series Leaders Training Course. So, for example, not only are Don, Ed, and I Stephen ministers, but we're also trained as Stephen leaders within our congregation. And then we implement the Stephen ministry in the congregation. The next or third step would be where Stephen leaders attend this conference to get further training so that they can manage the program at Stephen Ministry. So it's a really well thought out program that has a lot of pieces, a lot of parts to it that focus on bringing that care to the person who's hurting. And then step 4 would be to build awareness and ownership by the Stephen Ministry team to have your congregation supportive of them. So for example, Scottsdale Bible Church created a video about Stephen Ministry, you know, not unlike what we just saw, and then that gives that personalized approach to the program that then is shared with the congregation so that people know that this Stephen Ministry and Scottsdale Bible Church are partnered up. And then there's ways to do that for the smaller churches that might not have video equipment. There's all kinds of things we can do that. And then we recruit and select Stephen Ministry from within the lay people in the congregation based upon their gifts. And then once these individuals have volunteered and are selected, they get 50 hours of very biblically based, psychologically sound, and highly enjoyable training to give Christian caregiving. And then after this program is set in place in your congregation, then you'll identify people who are in need. And so, for example, most congregations who offer some Christian-based care might have immediate needs that people volunteer for. So this might be running errands or doing various things for people. That's more of a physical aspect that most congregations are willing to do on the behalf of their members. But then there's the more urgent care, that where somebody might need counseling, there might be an emergency situation and so forth. Whereas Stephen Ministry is a longer term care. So for example, somebody might have lost a spouse and they're grieving, and the grieving process can take months, if not years. And so Stephen ministers are prepared to walk alongside those people for as long as it takes for them to get over that grieving process, to get through it. Because grieving is a gift from God, that God gave us that ability to grieve so that we could get through our issues. And then typically a Stephen minister only has one care receiver at a time. They need to commit to that person to meet with them once a week. That meeting could be anywhere from 60 minutes to 2 hours, depends on the mutually agreed amount of time that takes. And then the final step is that, and this is a very critical part of the program, and it's called the supervisory meetings. This is twice monthly where we get together as a group in person and we discuss our cases, all in a confidential manner, but we discuss our cases and also get support. Because, for example, if I was dealing with somebody who had lost a parent, and something that they said maybe triggered something in me, so I can go to the supervision meeting and discuss about how when this person shared how they lost their loved one, it triggered something in me that, you know, maybe I'm still grieving over the loss of my father, you know. So we support one another, and we also at those supervision meetings also have ongoing continuing education. So we're constantly getting trained, constantly getting new material, new insights into providing care. So we've got a beta program currently going with 4 Native American churches in the greater Phoenix area. And so this is a new territory for Stephen Ministry because, as you know, a lot of the congregations on the res, they don't really have a whole lot of money or a whole lot of support and so forth. So we're prepared with our team to help those, to walk alongside those congregations to be the support team for Stephen Ministry, and also help them to train their lay people to become Stephen Ministry so that they can offer this care to the hurting people. And Huron's well involved in bringing this program to the different tribes, and is currently speaking with one of the larger nations, and that's the Navajo nations. He's addressed about 200 ministers there to share the program with them. So there's a lot of exciting developments that are happening. And I'm going to switch it over to Ed here, who's going to talk a little bit more about the program next.
Okay. Yep. Oh, this is great. Just put this mic on. Okay. So, good job, guys. That was excellent. The videos were good. I've been doing Stephen Ministry for 8 years now, and I will just say the first video conveyed a most rewarding thing that you've ever done. It's how you meet the Holy Spirit, and it comes alive inside you. It's the most incredible thing. Working with somebody that is hurting, that's having challenges, we bring that solution and we help them. Caring for someone is a real gift, to be able to give yourself to somebody's problems and to see gradual changes, and then they see them ultimately heal is incredible. And they can tell us everything because we offer confidentiality, and that is a very beautiful thing to reward this process. And what I am doing now, being here in Bemidji is the most special thing we could be doing, because we're taking a congregational care gift program that you bring weary members to hardy souls and bring them really up to speed. And I'm going to give you how we did this in Phoenix, Arizona with 4 churches. And what I'm going to do is convey to you our process. And this process is a turnkey for any of the national churches here in Bemidji that cover whatever their markets are. The first slide is the cover, and what you're going to see is, let's go one back. We customize this, and you'll see here, chief organization, the Stephen Ministry, and then SBC. That's the church that we go to, Scottsdale Bible Church. This is the cover sheet that your church would be on the right. We'll put your logo there, and so it would be Chief Stephen Ministry headquarters and your church, and then we'll get into the presentation now as far as what we would do with your particular church and bringing this into your situation. First and foremost, what is Stephen Ministry? In Galatians 6, verse 2, it says, bear one another's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. And that is exactly correct. Stephen Ministry is the one-to-one lay-caring ministry that takes place in the congregation that uses the Stephen Ministry system. Stephen Ministry congregations equip and empower lay caregivers, called the Stephen Ministers, to provide high-quality, confidential, Christ-centered care to people who are hurting. Basically, when you say, what are Stephen Ministers, it is Christian men and women trained to provide one-on-one care to people experiencing a difficult time in their life. And that was such as grief, divorce, job loss, chronic or terminal illness, relocation, or separation due to military deployment. Don shared a number of things as well. That is, the whole thing is the commonality. We have a passion for bringing Christ's love and care to people during this time of need. And this is a time that has gone on for close to 40 years, as Jeffrey mentioned. Since 1975, more than 650,000 people have been Stephen Ministers in 13,000 plus congregations around North America, and some in South America too. And other organizations have been trained as Stephen Ministers. So I'm going to share now with you what we did, and this is, go one more please. The gist of what we do is, if you look at this, this is the circle of congregational care. And so in the center is the Native American Christian Church. And as you circle into that church, that Native American Christian Church, on the left, you have the Stephen Minister headquarters. In St. Louis, they give us all the materials, all the support. And then you have Stephen Minister in the lower portion. And the Stephen Minister is a person that's going to walk with the hurting soul inside the Native American Church. It would have been an individual trained, gone through the program, and they will work then with people that are of need. We will meet the different churches as we are invited through the Chief organization. Chief brings the relational Native fellowship all across our country. 573 different churches, and there's many Native tribes, and there's many more as far as that goes. And so then you have the Scottsdale Bible Church on the right side, and that is coupled with Scottsdale Bible Outreach. We have reached out to the Chief organization, we support them, and we have a mission to help congregations in these Native communities really grow. And I'm going to get more specific now. If you take the next slide, we're going to look in Phoenix, Arizona at our beta test. It's 4 churches and their senior pastors. Number 1 is the First Indian Baptist Church, Sean Whitey, and the All Tribes Assembly of God with Marcus Collins, the Lehigh Nazarene Church with Merrill Jones, and the Every Tribe and Nations Baptist Church with Joshua Hughes and Jeremy Morris. The local church beta test then is very simple. Our focus is to bring Stephen Ministry to the Native churches, starting with these 4 churches that we have here. And this is going to be what we learned from and what we're growing. It's in progress as we just kicked this off. As far as from this presentation, now we are into the churches. So they're learning about each of the church, the affiliated tribal culture, which is so critical, the characteristics, the identity, and the relationship that we build within those individual churches. We focus on your pastor first, and we get the flavor of the church as far as through the pastor's eyes and his leadership, and then we develop the lay leaders, the people that rise to the top, the strong leaders inside the church who want to make a difference and help these individuals who are having challenges. We will walk with them and help them provide growth. And so we provide Stephen Ministry training, and the key is we train, it's about a 25-week 50-hour program, and this is a really important part of what makes the Stephen Minister a solid person. Second, behind the training though, is the support we get from the headquarters. In St. Louis, they have a great website with all the aspects of welcoming people to the Stephen Ministry, what the page is, what is offered, registration, materials, all the things that you need to know know to manage this process. And so basically the steps then for this journey is very simple. On the left, we have the pastor select 2 or 3 lay people that will be a part of their particular Stephen Ministry programs. The chief Stephen minister will then do a virtual presentation for those lay leaders and help them become trained and be a part of the program. The lay people become trained as Stephen ministers through the training process. And then we share success stories to grow Stephen Ministry to the Native American churches ultimately across the United States. This is a one market, we address it, and then we move to the next. So we're looking at Navajo Nation, we're looking to get into Oklahoma, a whole number of areas, but we are here at Bemidji because we are excited to talk to the leaders and offer this to whatever part of the country they want to be, having the system here. So basically, in closing, I'd like to bring what we're all about. Number 1, we deliver a Christ-led Christian care program to congregations. We want, number 2, protecting the congregation with loving, supportive care from people that are within the church, taking a course and being trained to be the caregivers and walk with the Lord and help the care receivers. 3, we want to grow continually with our walk with Jesus. This is a healing program for all. We get so strongly connected to the Lord because we do this. The Lord is inside of us, so active, because we are healing people, and it's God doing the healing through us. And then closing prayer. And I'd like to just say thank you for this great opportunity today. We are in Bemidji to walk and to be congregational focused. May our programs deliver greatness to the Native American churches. Amen. Thank you.